Justin Trudeau's woke agenda is tearing Canada apart. In this video, we're going to take a look at a fascinating assessment of the Trudeau administration, how his woke policies are quite literally ripping apart Canadian society. And stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal how even members of his own party are beginning to abandon him. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you, your Patriot professor, helping you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And gang, I'm sure many of you heard, but finally, the Republican Party is fighting back against rhinos, Republicans in name only, the rampant anti-Trumpers, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. They have been officially censored by the Republican Party, and this is just the beginning of the downfall of rhinos. It's rhino hunting month around here, and we're smoking out every last rhino across the nation for the midterms, and we need your help to do that. Make sure to go to our brand new website, reportarhino.com, to expose the truth about your local rhinos so we can expose them, get educated on them, and then evict them from office. So don't wait. Click on that link below or go right now to reportarhino.com and report any rhinos you know from a local to federal level so we can begin taking action against them. Again, that's reportarhino.com. We'd really appreciate if you'd share this website with your friends far and wide, and let's join together to make this the most amazing midterm elections ever. All right, gang, so let's dive right in here. The British Telegraph just published an excellent piece by London University scholar Eric Kaufman. Now, Eric Kaufman is an amazing scholar. If you're a regular to this channel, you know he wrote the bombshell book, Shall the Religious Inherit the Earth?, which argues that the world is getting more and more religious and more religiously conservative through the massive fertility advantage of conservative religionists over their secular counterparts. Well, Kaufman has been on fire of late. He just published a piece that we featured in yesterday's video, which analyzed new data in the United States showing that the culture wars here in the States are only going to get hotter and more central to our politics, and that they're uniting the Republicans while dividing the Democrats. It's absolutely awesome. Well, now he has a piece for the Telegraph, and he's arguing that Justin Trudeau's woke leftist government is basically tearing Canada apart. Kaufman is Canadian, and he points to the horrific fraud perpetrated on the Canadian people by the mainstream media. I don't know if you followed this, but a class photo surfaced from a Canadian residential school for Indigenous children. It was from the 1940s, and they're posing there with their white teacher, a headmaster, wearing a Catholic priest collar. And a rumor began spreading throughout Canada that every one of these Indigenous children were shot and killed due to overcrowding of the school, and then they were buried in unmarked graves. And the mainstream media completely ran away with the story. And true to form, being fake news, as it turned out, the entire story was one big fat lie. It was a hoax. The unmarked graves, as they're called, were not those of murder victims. Analysis of the remains showed that the children died mostly of the same causes as non-Indigenous children at the time, things like influenza, tuberculosis. Nor were the graves, quote, secret. There was already a landmark government commission that devoted an entire volume of reports to the graves back in 2015. The whole outrage over these supposed Indigenous murder victims by white supremacist colonists turned out to be a hoax. But it didn't matter. The damage was already done, damage intentionally perpetuated by the mainstream media, and as a result, over 30 Catholic churches throughout Canada were burned by woke mobs. Do you know how Trudeau responded to that? The Trudeau administration called the mass arson, the mass burning of churches throughout Canada by woke mobs, quote, understandable. The Freedom Convoy is a bunch of white supremacist racists, while the burning down of Catholic churches, all due to a hoax. Nevertheless, all that mass arson was, quote, understandable. And the media goes, so true. So Kaufman zeroes in on this ridiculous event in Canadian history, how Trudeau did nothing to stop it, and even seemed to appease it. And he notes, too, how the mainstream media in Canada has just gone completely irrationally woke. And as a result, a number of veteran journalists have had enough. They're actually starting to push back. They can't take this wokeness anymore. And by the way, if you want to have some fun pushing back against wokeness, check out this t-shirt, this Woca-Cola t-shirt in response to Coca-Cola Corporation going fully woke. Well, you can get your own shirt just like this by clicking on the link below and going to our merch store, which enables you to push back against all things woke while supporting this channel at the same time. Actually, the comments I hear all the time from our viewers who wear these shirts is that they get so many high fives and so much support from random people out there who just love the shirts. So make sure to click on that link below, and I cannot thank you enough for your support of this channel. But all right, so veteran Canadian journalist Tara Henley, she was one of the most prominent journalists of late who called out the blatantly Marxist ideology being peddled by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the CBC, and a number of others have joined her, saying that the Canadian media has largely renounced their vocation as reliable mediators of information and are now blatant peddlers of cultural Marxist propaganda. But again, according to Kaufman, this is largely because the Trudeau administration has given the media the green light to act like this. Basically, Trudeau's political strategy as the leader of Canada's Liberal Party, his strategy has been to pivot way left on cultural issues so as to siphon voters away from the New Democratic Party while maintaining a relatively free market economic approach to appease big business. But this pivot to the left by both politician and pundit has radically alienated a substantial portion of Canada's population. And that, my friends, that portion of Canada's population is now being represented for all the world to see by the Freedom Convoy. The Freedom Convoy is standing up for Canada's forgotten, or better, disparaged and demonized population, which are primarily conservatives and white working class voters. And the more Trudeau and the mainstream media demonize the convoy, the more they are in turn only galvanizing the unity and solidarity that exists between truckers and the newly disparaged conservative working class. And there are signs that the Trudeau wing is cracking. A lawmaker from Trudeau's own Liberal Party is accusing Trudeau of just what we've been talking about. He's accusing the Prime Minister of dividing and stigmatizing Canadians and politicizing vaccine mandates and COVID restrictions. Joe Lightbound delivered a stunning and scathing rebuke of Trudeau in the shadow of the massive convoy that's just shut down Ottawa, the capital of Canada, saying that Trudeau's weaponization of the virus and the demonizing of a substantial portion of Canada's population has resulted in precisely this kind of social unraveling with the shutdown of Ottawa. So it looks like even members of his own party are starting to turn against Trudeau. So bravo to Justin Trudeau. His woke agenda, with the help of the mainstream media, has successfully torn Canadian society apart. Now, before you go, make sure to check out my latest video I just uploaded on Jordan Peterson teaching Joe Rogan about the cross of Christ. It is absolutely breathtaking. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.